So, guys, this is going to be part one. So, when we think of Lemonade and the impact that Lemonade had on 2016 alone, shed a lot of shivers because not only this was Beyonce's most personal works, but a lot of people say this was her best work to that date because Rolling Stones put Lemonade as probably the most acclaimed project of the 21st century, with its emotional tone of infidelity and the roller coaster that Beyonce went through creating this album. It is no surprise why this album should have won Album of the Year. But when you look at all of the past projects that she has made, a lot of people still this day feel as if Lemonade should have won, but she was in contention with Adele's 25 or 21, which won the Album of the Year in 2017. And looking back on what Lemonade did for black women, as well as black people in general, with the formation, which 2016 was a very crazy year for black people, especially the police brutality, and how Lemonade was talking about not only the pain of black mothers, but it talks a heavy emphasis on black culture and how we look, how we dress, and how the world that's not in that community, how they see us. And I think still this day, I listen to this album once and every now and then, and having the copy of the vinyl and the CD, this becomes a personal memoir for me, because if we give Lemonade a chance of why it became so successful, we could understand that this was Beyonce's peak, leading up from her first album to her fifth studio album, which was the Game Change album, the Beyonce self-titled, to Lemonade becoming a cultural film on HBO, and how Lemonade created this infinity timeline, which is what I'm calling it, because when she mentioned in one of her tracks Spaghetti from Cowboy Carter, she indicates that she is considered herself as Thanos, the Mad Titan, because each of the stones that Beyonce has now created, you could think of it as parts of Thanos' gauntlet. And I think her 10th studio album or so would be like the perfect gauntlet to signify that she has been collecting things since self-titled, to Lemonade, to Black is King, to Everything is Love, and then to the new Renaissance and Cowboy Carter to date. Like, Lemonade talked about so many different personal things. I think out of this track, Beyonce has created these emotions, but these emotions created genres of their own, if you think that makes sense. It was something that I've never seen before. It's something that I think I will never see before, because each of the films and each of the tracks became its own genre. Like, Don't Hurt Yourself was definitely rock, and the way she channel rock, I cannot wait to see what she's planning on doing. Daddy's Lessons, which was the prequel to Cowboy Carter, and I think Daddy's Lessons should have been on Cowboy Carter, or a different version of it. Some say that she's planning on releasing a deluxe version of Cowboy Carter, so only time will tell. But like I said, guys, from Lemonade to now Cowboy Carter, and Daughter, which is a prelogue to 6-Inch Hills, how she saw a murder and she was the only witness of it. And when you think of Daughter, she mentions that she has her temperament of her father, but she's colder than Titanic waters, right? I love the melody, the tracks, and the way she played with words to make this a cinematography album. And you could see that Lemonade was like the big sister to Cowboy Carter and Renaissance, because it was such party anthem with Big Frida being on formation, and then Big Frida coming back and to Break My Soul. So this album, the Lemonade album, is a pure genre blending that opens the floodgates of what makes it even crazier than Self-Titled. Because Self-Titled, I feel like this was the peak of R&B for her, and the different sounds that she could have made with up tempos and different lyrics, and how she cohesively mastered the visual album for Self-Titled. But when she came back in Lemonade, it was a purpose. It was a reason of where this country's going. And if you take Lemonade's imagery and you put it with Cowboy Carter, it almost feels as if Beyonce has softened her braids and she kind of like let it go. She like be free. And like I mentioned before, with the imagery of the horse Chardonnay, the horse is galloping forward, but Beyonce is almost as if a relic in the past. She's holding the flag, almost as if trying not to let go of the American pride. But sometimes you have to let go of your pride to move forward in the future. And the imagery, the album imagery, talks about that. And it's very subtle, the way it talks about it. And the way that she's galloping backwards, and the horse Chardonnay is moving more forward into the unknown. I like how the background of the album is like, we're still like, as she shines on the horse, we're still in total darkness as a country, and as people, or as a genre, is still in total darkness. And I think she talks about that, like she brings the light. There's a poem or a track into the Cowboy Carter, which is Just for Fun. She said, I bring the light, and now that I'm here, we gotta get through this. And I think she's healing, but she's also unpeeling the wounds of what makes this album significant to even modern problems. And I love that. So I'll see you guys for part 2 and 3. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.